Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This week we're going to be going over how to go about getting a tattoo apprenticeship, or at least the steps that I took to getting mine. So for those of you who don't know, I have been apprenticing at a tattoo shop for the last year, and this is just me making a video because I would have thought that something like this was helpful for me when I first got into it, and so hoping that this helps somebody else out there that is looking to get into the industry, wants to become a tattoo artist, or is just possibly thinking about it and wants to know kind of like what to expect. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make a portfolio. So if you've ever done any sort of illustration, just overall like trying to design tattoos for yourself, for friends, painting, anything that seems remotely artistically relevant, pull it out of whatever notebook it's in and shove it into a binder sleeve. You are just going to make yourself a big folder or binder of just everything you have ever done artistically that you think that is worthy of somebody recognizing artistically. And even if you don't think it's worthy, it probably is. You're probably just being hard on yourself. Anyways, pull it out of a book and shove it into a singular one where you can condense and consolidate everything. And if you haven't started on a portfolio, or you are, very, very in the early steps of deciding that this might be the route you want to take, start one and start it in more traditional tattoo styles. I know that you're going to want to probably do something completely different. For me, I hated American traditional getting into all of this, and honestly, I've really learned to love it, and it makes a lot of sense with the art form. And I know that, it's not for everyone. And for me, I was like, hell no, I don't want to do that. I want to do tiny little detailed things. One, it shows that you are really serious about the craft itself, like actually learning the technical things, and also just kind of like history wise, there is a very long history of doing different types of art. And for me, I am in the States, so American traditional was definitely the thing that I wanted to start with. It's not what I started with, but it would have been a lot more helpful, and I probably would have gotten a lot less rejection in the beginning of trying to find my artist had I actually had more realistic tattoo designs, because there's a reason that they do that. The next thing you want to do is print out a resume. You are essentially trying to apply for a job. It's just an unpaid job for a while. So this is the binder I went around with. I put my resume in the very front here, but I will not be showing you all of my personal information on the internet. And then I put everything that I've ever done into this binder. So I, did these in Procreate digitally. And granted, these are not all tattooable designs. They were just things that I wanted to do and thought, somebody might be like, hey, you at least know how to do line work and make things look pretty. And that's kind of like half of it at first. So I did that. I also had printed out any sort of painting. So I had some pretty like line work heavy paintings here that I had done a while back, and threw those in there, and just kind of all of that. And your resume, you're going to put it in there just so that way they know that you can hold the job, or that you are capable of working. You're going to want to go around with this binder to all of the local shops. You're going to want to find your preferences. I think it's really important in this process to find a shop that seems like a good fit for you. So one that has kind of a style that you want to learn. If you're looking to get into like traditional Japanese tattoos, find a shop that specializes, or an artist that specializes in Japanese tattoo design. Same thing with American traditional. Fine line, like single needle, is becoming really popular these days. So if that's what you're looking for, find someone who's going to be able to teach you that, therefore like having a different style. Now there is a kind of a fine line to cross here, where you want to make sure that the craft itself is teachable to you. So style wise, not like style as in like aesthetic, but like you want to make sure that their style of tattooing versus their aesthetic match and complement you. So for me, I found somebody who is really good with line work and does pretty dainty florals, but she tends to lean more on the darker side of things. So she loves a lot of skulls, eyeballs, just more alternative stuff. And for me, my style's very cutesy. I like lighter things and just kind of more like playful, fun, cute things. That was good, because when I ended up finding my artist, it was like she could see that once I became a tattoo artist, that I could kind of take over the projects that she didn't want to do, but was still at the quality that she could, make one day, of course. But they have to see value in you. Essentially, when you are going around with this notebook, you are trying to sell somebody on you, that you have some sort of ability that one day it's going to pay off for them to actually invest in you. So when you become a tattoo artist, the shop does always take a shop cut. So, some shops it's 50-50. Like you end up, every tattoo you do, it's $200, they get 100, you get 100. And some do a little bit less than that, some do more than that. It completely depends, but you really want to make sure that they can see just some sort of potential in what you're bringing to the table, because one day when you are good enough to actually like take clients and you get through your apprenticeship, you're going to basically be paying them back for all the time that they spent on you. So you want to add value. So again, find shops, find artists. You're going to get rejected a lot. Like I think I applied to like 17 or 18 different, well, not like applied, but like I showed up and I was like, hey, can you come look at my art? And, you know, I would hand this to them. I'd show up, I'd be like, hey, you know, have you guys thought about an apprentice, or do you currently have a spot for an apprentice? And if so, like how would I go about like, you know, trying to get in with you guys? Like, I really love your work. And then, you know, for me, I like to always kind of do research on all the shops that I was petitioning. So I'd be like, hey, I really like this artist and this artist. And like, I really think that their styles would be helpful to learn and would complement the direction I'm trying to go in. And so just trying to do stuff like that. Either way, try not to get discouraged when you end up getting rejected from a ton of shops. It's okay. Like some people literally just don't have the time to be able to do this and they're just not in the place. Some people just are not good teachers. Just trust that when they turn you away, it's for a reason, and that's okay. And it's not always your fault, and that's fine too. But keep asking. Like, honestly, if this is what you want to do, just go for it. Put yourself out there like you've got this. Somebody's gonna see it like you do, and if you fully believe that you're gonna have it, someone's gonna believe in you too. People, they understand that type of energy. So just keep asking. For me, like I said, 17 or 18 shops, I got denied from all but 2 of them, and one of them just like did not fit my style at all. And I was like almost willing to take it just because I wanted anyone to take me in at that point, because like you're really just asking someone to keep you. The girl that I currently work with, I just kept emailing her. At first she was like, no, I don't really think we need someone. And I just like sent an email like a week later and I was like, hey, thanks so much for talking to me. I still really want to work with you. I love your stuff. I was persistent, and like some people kind of hate that, but other people see that as like you want it, and you know, the right person will see it. So I just kept doing it. And then one day she's like, okay, you know what, maybe like come in and like see if this fits. And like I came in, I just like watched her do a tattoo that day and asked questions. And some people, like, they're kind of intimidated by like taking somebody on, because I feel like some people just don't think that they can teach, or they just like haven't before. Like a lot of people haven't had apprentices. So for me, I was like, I don't really need you to teach directly. I just kind of need to be able to sit there, watch, and ask questions. And like that worked out for me. So after she decided to like keep me, it was like a year of just me going in. I mean, I'm at about 11 months now. It was basically just like 11 months of me sitting in the corner at a desk, either drawing out flash, cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the front room, cleaning their stations, watching a lot, like just watch. I know that it seems redundant, and like if you're in there and you're just like watching somebody go over and over and over again, and you're like, okay, I think I got it. It doesn't translate. Like I have done so much art prior to getting this, and none of it translated. Like it was one of the hardest learning curves I've ever had. If you're not ready and they say you're not ready, trust me, you're not ready. So it was a lot of just, yeah, cleaning, watching, question asking. This period of just doing nothing but just like being there, being like shop bitch essentially, can last anywhere from like 1 to 5 years. And like every shop's different, and it also depends on like your learning curve. Like some people, like I feel like I'm always a slow learner with a lot of these things, and so for me, I know usually I'm a little bit behind on the curve of things, but that's okay. You know, I want to be there and they know I want to be there, and honestly I'm going to keep coming back until I'm where I want to be. So after you're doing all the cleaning, watching, finally when they think you might be ready to kind of just like start, you know, touching the machine, don't call it a gun, it's a machine. You're either going to get your own, or somebody else is going to kind of or your mentor will probably end up letting you use theirs, and you're just going to go over some like fake skin. You're either going to do some fake skin. Fruit is pretty common too. You can do like honeydew or grapefruit, and you can just kind of practice on that for a while. It's honestly, nothing really replicates skin the way that skin is. Like it's just plastic and fruit versus like human skin. It's just is what it is. But the scarier part that I thought about all of this, and I actually had a very brief apprenticeship in college that I had received, and it only lasted like 2 months, because getting an apprenticeship is a long time of just unpaid labor, frankly. And you know, it's basically like going back to school. And so if you are not prepared for that financially, or like, you know, being able to carry more than one job, or just not in the place for it, like that's okay. But I was not prepared for it in college. And then when I had gotten this one, I was like, you know, I'm just going to do what I have to do to make it work. Going back to how that all connects together, because my brain is all over the place all the time. When I was in that first apprenticeship, they said the first thing you're gonna have to do is tattoo yourself. And that scared the living shit out of me. And then I got to this apprenticeship, and shocker, she said the same thing. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I've done it. I've now given myself 2 tattoos. And at first, that was the most terrifying thing. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna mutilate my skin
forever.
One, it's actually a little easier to do on skin, in my personal opinion. This may not be everybody else's, but I thought skin was a lot easier than silicone to tattoo. The stencil stays on there way better. It just seemed more natural. What didn't feel natural was me basically stabbing myself and also having to focus at the same time. That was weird. But yeah, you're probably gonna have to tattoo yourself. And you know, if that's something that really scares you and you're really not comfortable with it, maybe ask that up front once you get your apprenticeship. Just because a lot of shops, that is like the rite of passage. Like that's how you get through it. The first person you're gonna tattoo is yourself. The second person you're probably gonna tattoo is probably your mentor, which I will be doing next week. And then after you end up, you know, tattooing her, tattooing yourself, tattooing some fake skin, it looks like you're at that point of starting to take clients, which I'm actually starting to do next month. You are going to have to spend so much money to start yourself a little setup. Unless your mentor is nice enough to let you use theirs, which not all are, yeah, you're gonna have to spend a lot of money putting up your setup together. I think mine was about almost $3,000. I might do a separate video on just all of the things that I had to buy just to get like all of my stuff ready for me to take a client and actually be able to execute it with all of the materials that I need. It's gonna be a sacrifice. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Getting into it was, you know, the skill was hard to learn. It was really expensive to set up. It's a lot of time put into it. And honestly, like a lot of time and emotional effort in going to all these different shops and trying to get in with them and possibly just getting rejected over and over and over again. But like, it will happen one day if that's what you want. I think it's worth it in the long run. Obviously, a lot of other people think it's worth it in the long run, but you know, it's not for everyone. So if you were thinking about getting into this industry, I hope that this video was helpful for you. And if I missed anything or forgot anything, go ahead and leave questions in the comments and I will be sure to get back to you all as soon as I can. Thank you all so much for watching and have a good rest of your week.